There are dreams you should never share with anyone, not because they are too precious, but because they are too fragile. They live in that quiet, hidden part of you, the part that feels everything, the part that remembers what it's like to be small and full of hope. And when you bring them out into the light, you risk more than just judgment. You risk having them misunderstood, twisted, or worse, used against you. This isn't about secrecy. It's about protection. The protection of the most tender parts of who you are. Today, we're going to talk about the 6 kinds of people who, often without even realizing it, can damage the very dreams you hold dear. We'll explore why this happens, not on the surface, but deep within the unconscious patterns that guide our relationships. This is about understanding why you sometimes feel that immediate regret after sharing something sacred, and how to recognize the people who might not be safe for your inner world. It's a warning, yes, but one born from a deep care for your emotional truth. You know that feeling, don't you? The moment the words leave your mouth and you see a flicker in their eyes that isn't understanding, it's something else, a subtle shift. And suddenly, the dream that felt so alive inside you now feels exposed, almost foolish. You try to explain, to add more words, as if you could build a shield around it with your voice. But it's too late. The space between you has changed. This isn't just about someone being critical or dismissive. It's far more quiet than that. It's the slow, sinking realization that the ground you thought was solid was, in fact, not made to hold the weight of your most private hopes. We walk through our days, through our relationships, and we make silent calculations. We decide, often without even thinking, who is worthy of our truth. But sometimes we get it wrong. Our unconscious, that ancient part of us that remembers every wound, every betrayal, tries to warn us with a knot in the stomach, a hesitation in the throat. But we override it. We want to believe in connection, so we speak. And then we learn, again, the old lesson, that some silences are not empty. They are full of protection. Let's begin to look at the first kind of person, the one who seems so safe, so logical, but whose presence can make your dreams feel like problems to be solved. The first type of person is the one who immediately tries to fix your dream. They hear your fragile, budding idea, the one that still smells of sleep and possibility, and their first instinct is to organize it, to find the flaws, to ask the practical questions you haven't dared to ask yourself yet. They speak in terms of logistics, of risk assessment, of timelines and feasibility. They are not trying to be cruel. In fact, they believe they are helping. They see your dream as a leaky pipe that needs patching, a mathematical equation that needs solving. But a dream is not a problem. It is a living thing, a delicate internal image that exists before logic, before reason. It lives in the same place as childhood memories and forgotten feelings. When you share it with the fixer, you are essentially handing them a newborn bird and watching them try to build a cage for it. They cannot see the wings. They only see the potential for falling. This happens because, for this person, the world is a place of order and control. Their own unconscious is likely structured around a deep fear of chaos, of things falling apart. Perhaps in their own childhood, emotion was treated as a messy inconvenience. Maybe showing vulnerability was met with a list of solutions rather than a moment of understanding. So now they relate to the world through a lens of functionality. Your dream, in its raw and emotional state, triggers their own hidden anxiety. By trying to fix it, they are not really trying to fix your dream. They are trying to fix their own discomfort with something that cannot be controlled. They are trying to apply reason to the unreasonable, to apply order to the beautiful chaos of human desire. And in doing so, they unintentionally send you a message that your dream in its pure form is not acceptable. It must be edited, trimmed, and made safe before it can be valid. This is how dreams begin to wither. not from a direct attack, but from the slow, suffocating pressure of being turned into something manageable. The second type is the competitive dreamer. This is the person who, the moment you share your hope, feels the immediate need to share their own, bigger, better, more impressive. Your dream of writing a book is met with their detailed plan for a best-selling series. Your desire to travel becomes a monologue about their upcoming around-the-world trip. It feels like a conversation, but it is not. It is a subtle takeover. Your dream becomes a mere stepping stone for them to launch their own. You are left standing there, your own words fading in the air, replaced by the grander, louder version of theirs. The space for your feeling vanishes. This behavior is rarely conscious malice. It is a reflex born from a deep, often unconscious insecurity. For this person, your dream is not a gift to be witnessed. It is a mirror that reflects their own inadequacies. Their sense of self is so fragile that any spark of ambition in another person feels like a threat. They must immediately assert their own dominance in the realm of possibility. It is a defense mechanism, a way of saying, "See, I am not left behind. I am still in the race." Freud might have pointed to the roots of this in early sibling rivalry, or in a childhood where love felt conditional upon achievement. They learned that to be special, one must be the most special. So they cannot simply sit with your joy, your potential. They must absorb it and reflect back a version that centers them. Sharing with this person does not feel like sharing. It feels like handing over your map and watching them draw their own destination over yours. And then there is the third type, the passive dismisser. This one is perhaps the most quietly damaging. They don't argue, they don't compete. They simply absorb your words and offer nothing back. A non-committal nod. A vague, "That's nice." A quick change of the subject to the weather or what they had for lunch. The silence that follows is not peaceful, it is hollow. It is the sound of your dream falling into a void. You offered them a piece of your inner world, and they treated it with the same importance as a comment on the traffic. This dismissal is a form of profound emotional neglect. It communicates that your inner life is irrelevant, uninteresting, not worth engaging with. The reason for this is often that this person is so disconnected from their own dreams and desires, so buried under their own disappointments, that they have no capacity to hold anyone else's. They have walled off their own unconscious to avoid the pain of what they might find there. Your vibrant, living dream bumps against that wall and simply falls away. It reminds them of a part of themselves they have worked very hard to forget. So they shut it down, not with anger, but with absence. That what matters most to you does not matter at all. The fourth type is the one who uses your dream as a weapon. This person listens, they may even seem supportive at first, but they file your dream away. They remember it, and later, in a moment of conflict or insecurity, they bring it out, not as a shared hope, but as a point of weakness. You always talk about wanting to change your life, but you never do anything about it. They might say during an argument, or maybe if you weren't so obsessed with that silly idea, you'd have more time for what's important. Your dream, which was shared in a moment of trust, is suddenly twisted into a flaw, a character defect, a piece of evidence used against you. This is a profound betrayal because it takes something sacred and turns it into a tool for control. It happens because this person sees relationships not as partnerships, but as power dynamics. Your vulnerability is not a gift to them. It is leverage. Their own unconscious is likely governed by a deep-seated fear of being powerless, so they gather information, especially emotional information, as a form of armor. Your dream represents a part of you that is unguarded, and that is exactly where they will strike when they feel threatened. They learned, perhaps very early in life, that intimacy is dangerous, that to be close is to be vulnerable to attack. So they preemptively collect the weapons they might need. Sharing with this person feels like handing them a key to a secret room inside you, only to find out later they've used it to lock you in. The fifth type is the martyr. This person hears your dream and immediately makes it about them and their sacrifice. "I wish I could follow my dreams," they sigh, "but I have too many responsibilities." Or, "It must be nice to have the time for that." They frame your hope as a luxury they are denied. And in doing so, they drape your dream in a heavy cloak of guilt. The excitement you felt now feels selfish. The possibility now feels like a privilege you should be ashamed of. This reaction is not about you. It is about the martyr's own repressed resentment and unlived life. They have likely buried their own desires so deep that seeing yours spark to the surface is agonizing. It reminds them of what they have given up. Instead of confronting their own choices or their own fears, they project that discomfort onto you. By making you feel guilty, they temporarily relieve their own sense of failure. They are, in a way, asking you to carry the weight of their resignation. Your dream becomes a symbol of their burden. The unconscious message is a devastating one. For you to fly, someone else must be left behind. It creates a false and painful choice between your own growth and your care for others. The sixth and final type is the one who is overly enthusiastic. The one who smothers your dream with premature praise. They hear your quiet, tentative idea and immediately crown it a masterpiece. They start planning your success party, they tell all their friends, they build an entire imaginary future around your half-formed thought. While this may seem supportive on the surface, it can be just as damaging as criticism. Your private, delicate process is suddenly thrust into the spotlight. The dream is no longer yours to nurture in the dark. It is now a public performance with an audience and expectations. This happens because this person is often trying to live through you. Their own dreams may feel so out of reach that they attach themselves to yours with a desperate intensity. Your potential becomes their escape. They are not truly seeing your dream for what it is. They are seeing it as a vehicle for their own unmet longings. The pressure this creates is immense. Now, if you fail, you are not just failing for yourself, you are failing for them. The dream becomes entangled with their approval, and the pure, personal joy of it is lost. It must now grow in a certain way, at a certain speed, to meet their projected narrative. This smothering enthusiasm is, at its core, another form of control, another way of not truly seeing you, but seeing what you can do for them. So we see the pattern, don't we? From the fixer to the smotherer, each one, in their own way, fails to hold the space your dream requires. They are not monsters. They are wounded people, acting out their own unconscious dramas. The fixer is afraid of chaos. The competitor is afraid of being insignificant. The dismisser is afraid of their own pain. The weaponizer is afraid of being powerless. The martyr is afraid of their own resentment. The smotherer is afraid of their own emptiness. And when you share your dream with them, you are inadvertently stepping into their battlefield. You are asking them to care for a seedling while they are fighting a war inside themselves. They cannot do it. Their response is never really about your dream. It is always a reflection of their own inner world, their own unresolved history. Now, think about your own life for a moment. As you hear these descriptions, does a face come to mind? Can you feel in your body the memory of sharing something tender and feeling that subtle shift, that closing off, that quiet disappointment? That feeling is your unconscious wisdom. It is the part of you that knows, long before your conscious mind can explain it, who is safe and who is not. The real work is not in blaming them, but in learning to trust that feeling in yourself. To recognize that the desire to share is a desire for connection, but that true connection requires a foundation of mutual respect for the sacred, unformed things we carry inside. If this quiet understanding makes sense to you, if you feel seen in these words, then consider what it means to protect that soft, hopeful part of yourself. It is not about building walls. It is about learning to discern whose hands are gentle enough to hold your dreams without needing to change them. This is a slow, patient process of coming home to yourself, of listening to the old wounds that make you want to shout your dreams from the rooftops, seeking validation, or hide them away forever, fearing their destruction. The balance is found in the quiet middle, in the patient nurturing of your own inner world, before you ever decide to speak of it aloud. So I will ask you this directly. When you think about the dreams you keep closest to your heart, what is the first gut feeling that tells you who you can truly trust with them? If this video made you feel understood or simply gave you a new way to see the quiet dynamics in your life, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this space for honest conversation. Thank you for listening. You begin to notice a pattern, a quiet erosion. At first, it feels like nothing, a slight discomfort after a conversation, a vague sense of being misunderstood. But over time, these small moments accumulate. The dream you once carried with a secret, thrilling warmth now feels cold and heavy. You find yourself thinking about it less. The vivid image starts to fade, replaced by the echo of their practical questions, their competing stories, their hollow silence. This is the collapse. It doesn't happen with a dramatic explosion. It happens in the quiet moments, when you're alone and the dream surfaces, and instead of feeling excitement, you feel a wave of exhaustion. You start to pre-edit your own thoughts before they even fully form. You hear their voices in your head, and you begin to do their work for them. You find the flaws, you calculate the risks, you shrink the dream down to a more manageable, less embarrassing size. You are now the one fixing, dismissing, and weaponizing your own hope. This is the true cost. The external criticism becomes an internal monologue. The dream doesn't die because someone killed it. It starves slowly because you stop feeding it, believing on some deep level that it doesn't deserve to live. This emotional collapse is a form of repetition. You are repeating within yourself the very dynamics you experienced with others. It's an unconscious attempt to gain control. If you are the one to criticize the dream, then it hurts less when someone else does. If you are the one to dismiss its importance, then you can't be disappointed when others do the same. You are trying to protect yourself from the pain of external invalidation by internalizing it first. But all you are doing is confirming the old, hidden belief that your deepest desires are not safe in this world, that to want something deeply is to invite pain. So you learn to want less. You learn to hope in quieter, smaller ways. The vibrant colors of your inner world begin to gray. This is not a conscious choice. It is a surrender orchestrated by your own psyche, a defense mechanism that mistakes numbness for safety. The fatigue you feel is the weight of this internal conflict. A part of you still holds the original, pure dream, the child's wish, the soul's longing. Another part, the protector, works tirelessly to keep it contained, to manage it, to prevent it from causing any more trouble. These two parts are at war, and you are the battlefield. You feel tired because you are constantly negotiating a truce between your own hope and your own fear. The energy that was meant for building your dream is now spent on just keeping it in check. This is the silent, draining work of repressing your own potential. You walk through your days feeling a fundamental disconnect, a sadness you can't quite name, because its source, the neglected dream, has been pushed so far down into the unconscious that you've almost forgotten it's there. You just feel the empty space where it used to be. But then, something shifts. It doesn't happen all at once. It starts with a quiet question that surfaces in a moment of stillness. Why does this hurt so much? Why does the memory of sharing that dream still feel like a small bruise on your soul? And in asking, you begin to trace the pain backward. You stop focusing on what they did, and you start to feel what it triggered inside you. You realize that their reaction, the fixing, the competing, the dismissing, felt so familiar because it echoed a much older song. A song from a time when you were small, and you brought a drawing, or an idea, or a feeling to someone whose opinion mattered more than anything, and you saw that same flicker in their eyes. Not malice, but something else, a lack of true seeing. A failure to mirror back the beauty and validity of what you had created, of who you were. This is the point of understanding. It is the moment you see that the present-day hurt is not just about this person or that dream. It is about an ancient wound of not feeling truly witnessed. Freud suggested that so much of our adult life is a repetition of our earliest relationships, a desperate, unconscious attempt to get it right this time, to finally be seen and accepted for all that we are. When you share a dream, you are, in a way, showing that drawing again. You are the child, holding out your heart, hoping that this time the response will be different. And when it isn't, the old wound is reopened. The pain is not just about the dream. It is the accumulated pain of every time a part of you was met with indifference, practicality, or conditional approval. Understanding this changes everything. It removes the sting of their reaction. You see that they were not powerful figures judging you. They were simply actors in your old play, reading lines from a script written long ago. Their inability to hold your dreams safely was a reflection of their own limitations, their own unconscious battles, not a verdict on the worth of your desire. Your dream was never the problem. The problem was the hope you attached to it, the hope that this person could finally give you the validation that was missing long before you met them. The dream itself remains pure. It is still that beautiful, fragile, living thing inside you. It was only ever covered in the dust of other people's fears. When you wipe that dust away, you find it is still there, intact, waiting for you. This understanding is not about blaming your past or the people in it. It is about reclaiming your own inner authority. It is about realizing that the only person who needs to truly see and believe in your dream, first and foremost, is you. The validation you have been seeking outside was always meant to be an inside job. So now, the question is no longer, who can I trust with my dreams? The question becomes, how can I learn to trust myself with them? How can I become the safe container, the gentle witness, the patient guardian of my own most tender hopes? This is the true turning point. It is the moment you stop giving others the power to define what is precious to you. You begin to hold your dreams like sacred secrets, not to be hidden away in shame, but to be protected with a fierce and loving kindness until you are ready to share them from a place of wholeness, not from a place of hunger. When you feel that old urge to share, that longing for someone to see what you see, what is the quiet truth your heart is trying to tell you about what you really need? And so, we arrive at a different kind of silence. Not the hollow silence of dismissal, but a quiet, purposeful one. The silence of a garden growing underground. This is where the real work begins. It's the work of turning inward and becoming, for yourself, the very person you have been searching for. The one who listens without immediately trying to fix. The one who witnesses without competing. The one who holds the space without needing to fill it with noise or premature praise. This is not about becoming perfect or coldly self-sufficient. It is about learning the art of inner hospitality. How to welcome your own dreams in all their messy, illogical, and fragile glory, and to offer them a home within you that is safe, that is steady, that does not flinch. Think of it this way. For so long, you may have been carrying your dream like a precious object, looking for the right person to hand it to. And each time it was returned to you slightly damaged, you felt the dream itself was flawed. But what if you stopped handing it away? What if you learned to hold it yourself, to cradle it, to understand its weight and its texture, to appreciate it simply for existing, without any demand for it to become something else, to be practical or to be impressive? This is how you break the cycle of repetition. You stop the old play by refusing to cast the other actors. You become the audience, the director, and the lead character all at once. You give yourself the validating nod that you have been waiting a lifetime to receive from someone else. This is not a lonely process. It is, strangely, where true connection to others can finally begin. Because when you share a dream from this place, from a foundation of already believing in it yourself, the sharing changes. It is no longer a plea. It is not a test. It is an offering. You are not handing them your entire sense of self-worth wrapped around an idea. You are simply showing them a part of your world. And if they cannot hold it with care, the loss is theirs, not yours. The dream remains safe with you, its home base intact. You realize that sharing was never the problem. The problem was sharing from an empty place, hoping the other person would fill you up. When you are already full, their response loses its power to devastate you. It becomes information, not a definition. So I will ask you this directly. When you think about the dreams you keep closest to your heart, what is the first gut feeling that tells you who you can truly trust with them? If this video made you feel understood, or simply gave you a new way to see the quiet dynamics in your life, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this space for honest conversation. Thank you for listening. And so we arrive at the quietest truth of all, that the protection of your dreams is not about building higher walls or creating a longer list of forbidden people. It is about the slow, patient work of returning home to yourself, of learning to recognize the difference between the hunger for external validation and the quiet confidence of inner knowing. You start to notice the subtle signs within your own body, the tightening in your chest, the slight hesitation in your breath, that tell you this person, this moment is not the right container for what you carry. These sensations are not anxiety to be ignored. They are the ancient wisdom of your unconscious, the accumulated knowledge of every time you shared too soon, with the wrong person for the wrong reasons. This is not about paranoia. It is about discernment. It is about honoring the delicate timing of your own becoming. Some dreams need to be held in silence until they grow strong enough to withstand the outside world. Others may always remain private treasures, and that is their sacred purpose, to remind you that the most important parts of you do not require an audience to be valid. They exist for you alone, as proof of your own alive, feeling, hoping heart. This is the final understanding, that your dreams are not meant to be evaluated, managed, or performed. They are meant to be lived, first and foremost, in the quiet sanctuary of your own being. And from that place of inner safety, you will naturally attract those rare few who know how to listen with their whole being, who understand that to witness a dream is to touch a soul, and that is a privilege, not a right. So I will ask you this directly. When you think about the dreams you keep closest to your heart, what is the first gut feeling that tells you who you can truly trust with them? If this video made you feel understood or simply gave you a new way to see the quiet dynamics in your life, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this space for honest conversation. Thank you for listening.